Mic check. I don't have a little fuzzy, but. Oh, neither does Jim.
No, mine's been missing.
Where? 164 south? Yeah.
Guys, there's more chairs. Do you want me to get your chair? Or do you
There's
want-
chairs over there.
Or do you want to sit here in the minutes? Your hair is getting lost. I didn't know you had little curls in the back.
Yeah.
That's cute. Or there wasn't the death of any of the deputies on the sheriff's department.
What's that?
There wasn't a funeral for one of the deputies at the sheriff's department today.
I think Garvin's ceremony was that he retired back in '94.
Yeah, because I called Eric and he said, man, when was the funeral?
His manifest today, he was the most recent one to pass.
Did you know him well, Ward?
No, I know he'd been there for about a year before he retired.
Well, let me know your schedule.
Tomorrow anytime. Well,
Oh,
tomorrow anytime.
well, I gotta pick up my computer, so why don't we do it
Yeah.
sometime?
Shoot, you're not gonna be able to Zoom.
No, I won't. Well, oh, shoot.
Usually you
I can call, but then he's got his stuff up on the screen. Sometimes during the day, not usually though.
There's not gonna be much.
It shouldn't be much.
Did you get your plan commission packet?
Yeah, just put it in.
I didn't recopy the zoning.
Hope not. There's just three.
Yeah.
One we should keep on our ledger, 100%. The other two we should share. I just looked at them all. The one.
Hey, Ron, what time are you picking up Carl's computer? Is it either like 7 or 6? Okay, you know what I'll do? If you get here before I'm here, I'm gonna leave it right, where he sits. Does that sound good? If he came here after the close. So, he's bringing his, but, we have a Zoom meeting at 9:30, so I didn't know if we had it done by 9:30 or not, so. You know? You're gonna let me, okay. Okay, thanks.
All right. So I can print off the codes and dial in with my phone if I have to.
Oh, that's right.
Or if he's got it done, maybe I'll just come down
Yeah,
here.
cause usually he comes about 6:30.
Oh, yeah, if it's done, maybe I can come down here and just do it from here,
Right.
Zoom from
Yeah,
here.
we could talk after.
Yeah. But I'll print the phone just so I have it. Otherwise, I guess I can use one of my other computers to get into the Vernon email system. It's always somewhat dicey. Well, it sometimes doesn't recognize the computer.
It was him. It was him, Captain.
I was gonna say, is Ward in trouble?
Just giving you the eye, Ward.
They were wondering if I was in trouble.
Well, you're kinda like the big guy. Michelle, you're kinda like the big mouth. Oh, see?
I can't find my, dang it.
Can you get your pen?
Yeah, I was gonna, here, I'll do it off the minutes. I'm gonna read that announcement about no campaigning again, just because, to get it in the minutes. Yeah, to get it in the minutes again, just because. I was gonna say, I can't even get into my statement on my computer. I can't find it. I can't find anything. I mean, it's just, well, Ron said it didn't sound like any big deal. Well, yeah, if he could tell me what to do, I could do it, but.
You're gonna do your commercial after you announce the closed session, right? Before public comments and after first.
Right, right.
Just gonna go commercial.
One sentence, you already have the word.
Yes. Commercial by Carol.
Wow.
What's that?
Well, you got a primary and then you got the general. Well, I just don't wanna, you know, when Judge Martin and those people wanted to come down, they were calling me and saying, oh, you can't do that.
Eric called me. He was like,
Yeah, Eric could come in January. He could come in all the way up till ballots went out. It's June something or July something.
yeah.
7:02. Oh yeah, we gotta get rolling. You ready? Ready? Good evening. Today is Thursday, August 4, 2022, 7 p.m. Welcome to the Village of Vernon Board Meeting. I will call the Village Board to order with the Pledge of Allegiance and a standing moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Roll call and open meeting law compliance check.
President Carl Fortner.
Present.
Trustees Jim Swanee.
Present.
Danny DeGrave.
Present.
Glenn Newman.
Present.
Lorraine Dashik.
Present.
Mr. President, note for the record, you do have a quorum of your village board. Also note for the record, the DPW Director, John Henneberry, is here. Also note for the record, we do have our chief and assistant chief are in the audience, Alex Feldy and Patrick Hayes and Ward Hollingsworth, and Captain Michelle Lucero is also here. Mr. President, the agenda was posted inside and outside the village hall and the village website, and other entities, you're in full compliance with the open meetings law.
Thank you. Up next on the agenda is my announcement of a closed session, consideration and possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin Statutes 19.85 1C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically the Village of Vernon Treasurer, Clerk, Administrator, Fire Chief, Assistant Fire Chief, and Battalion Chiefs, and Wisconsin Statutes 19.85 1E, deliberating of negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. More specifically, the contract for consulting services for the Village of Vernon and the sale of the 1992 backhoe. In closed session will be the Village of Vernon Board of Trustees. Motion will require a roll call vote. No action will be taken in closed session. I put a possible closed session on the agenda in the event we need one. You'll notice on the agenda items, they are in the regular agenda, and we will make that decision as we get through the agenda. Public comments are next. Just as a reminder, it is a long-standing past practice of Vernon that once ballots are available for absentee or early voting, no campaigning is to be done as part of public comments. And public comments, no members of the public other than our fine public protection officers. Miscellaneous matters. Well, should we let's defer and let's take if you have a sheriff's report for us or anything to report, Deputy Ward, Hollingsworth. Michelle, Captain, no? Okay. Then we will go to letter A, approve DPW Director to list for sale and sell the 1992 backhoe, authorize the village president to sign the final bill of sale. I don't believe we received any information in our packet, but John, you're here. You can tell us about that, and unless there's an objection, I know you're on to give a report. Maybe you can just do your report as well.
Yeah, that's our old Cruisair, Badger Cruisair backhoe that we've replaced with the new Volvo unit this last year. We kind of kept it around until we got the new one set up and operational for all our needs. So what I'm looking for is just to get the approval to go ahead and I'm going to list it on Wisconsin Surplus. It's an auction site for all municipality extra stuff, but I got to talk with them a little bit, and I want to make sure we can have a minimum price put on that so we don't lose out. But the last one that went, that's same style model, they only got like $3,000 for it from City of Brookfield like 3 or 4 years ago, because it is an obsolete unit, still functional, but I was hoping to get 5 to 6, 7, 8,000 or something like that. But that's why I want to put a reserve price of 5,000 if they'll allow me to do that.
I know when we were talking about listing the surplus ambulance fire department, you put a reserve on it. Now, if there's, I don't know what the rules are. If it's
Yeah.
under 5,000, you can't, or I don't, they might have some minimum.
Right. So I just want to get permission from you guys to make sure before I go ahead and list that on site. And I want to make sure that we can put it out, get it out, advertising it a little bit. I talked to Alex, maybe setting it up by the firehouse, just get some eyes on it. Maybe that'll draw a little more interest on bidding on it. So as of right now, we don't, I haven't even begun the process. I just wanted to get your approval, make sure we're all good to go ahead and do that. And before there be any sale, obviously you guys have to approve the sale or highest bid.
Well, it's too late if, under the rules, as I understand them, as long as they meet the reserve amount or the minimum, it is what it is. It's sold.
Yeah, right,
There's
basic,
nothing more to approve.
right.
Now, when the fire department came in, just so you know, and this is the reason I put it in possible closed session to discuss the reserve price, in open session to talk about what the reserve price should be or whether that should be changed. That could be a competitive disadvantage to people who might be looking back at this meeting for
Yeah, well,
approvals. But you haven't, you just want to list it. The fire department, we had, between Chief Eldey and I think the motion was that we would, between the two of us, approve the reserve price. So, that'd be another way to do it. But you said you were gonna look into the price and then figure that out.
Right.
We haven't gotten any information on it.
No, I'm just throwing it out there just so I want to make sure I can put a reserve on it. And if you guys want to give me a price, whatever you think, we got to come up with something.
Right, I think it's a good idea to have a reserve price on it, otherwise you're monitoring and you have to pull it out.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think how best to proceed. What I'm thinking, is there questions for John about this?
Not really, mostly because I have no clue what the reserve price could be or should be. I don't know what used equipment, especially like the backhoe, goes for these days.
Yeah. The disadvantage with this piece of equipment is just it's obsolete. It's a 94. You can't even get parts for it hardly now. We had a hard time when we blew a pump on it a couple of years ago, and we had to order a rebuilt one from California. It's not a lot of people have these parts for these things anymore. So it's kind of the right person that really is looking for something in that particular, style.
Or use it for parts themselves?
That's a possibility too, yeah. So,
And if you put it on with a reserve that's too high, 2 follow-up questions, do we get a chance to go back to the guy that was the next highest person?
yeah, I don't know. I briefly spoke with a woman at that surplus site, but she said I got to talk to this other guy in charge there. So I just want to kind of get the ball rolling here so I know what I'm getting into with him before I discuss it with him. So
Okay. And then the other thing is, if we go in too high and it doesn't sell,
yeah, that's what I'm afraid of too.
exactly, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
Darned.
Well, if they don't meet the minimum, it's just not sold, and I know the listings expire, so you pull it down, but they'll give you the highest bid. You can adjust your reserve the next time, put it back out. What is the timing? It's surplus equipment. There's no need to keep it around anymore.
Right. Oh yeah. We haven't used it. I think we used it. No, we moved it 3 times so far this summer.
You have to turn it over to them when you list it, or does it stay here?
No,
until
it
it's
stays
sold?
here. It'll stay here. And if people want to come and view it, they would come here to check it out or whatever.
Well, you were talking about putting it in a fire station.
Well, yeah, like I said, I just want to get it out and visual, get a little interest. People see it on there. I can put a sign on there saying, visit Wisconsin Surplus for, information or pricing.
Know of anybody around here? I mean, we sold our surplus ambulance.
I do know of somebody very local that was
Interested,
was
perhaps?
interested like 2 or 3 years ago. He said, if you ever sell that machine, let him know. But that's why I said, I don't know if you want to just approach, if you want to do something like that, or if you want to put it out there for bids, I mean.
Or both.
Well, that's what I said. That's why I wanted to get it out there for people to see, and if they want to put a bid on, yeah.
Guy's interested and he offers you enough money, then you maybe want to sell it. If you don't, maybe that's the minimum.
And that's why I asked them too, because I want to say, if we put it out and all of a sudden somebody comes along and says, I'll give you so much for it, are we committed to going through them still?
That I don't know. You'll have to look
Right.
into that.
Then he
How
would,
quickly you can pull it out.
yeah, then he would have to basically bid through their site.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Buyer pays the commission, as I understand.
Yes.
So they factor it into the price.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no qualms about this. I mean,
Right.
but the site's got to make money. It's got
Right.
to operate. It's got to make money somehow. I guess the first question you want to talk about in closed session, if we do, then no motion will come out of closed session and decide. If we're ready to make a motion, make a motion.
Yeah, I would concur. I mean, we can't talk about the reserve price in an open meeting, or we shouldn't.
Well,
Or
as I
we
said,
could,
just
but we
come up
shouldn't.
with whatever you guys want to come up with. Let me know, and I'll get the ball rolling and with that site and send them some information.
Okay, so anybody, it's fine with me. I mean, I don't care when the motions are made. I'll defer till, defer to closed session. I got 2 nods, Jim's yes,
Yep.
so we'll defer that decision till closed session and then come out and make it. Or, and if not a dollar amount, John, or it will probably be more like, like we did with the fire department, it's discussion in closed session between the, DPW director and the village president or something like that. Should we go right to your report while you're here?
Sure, that's fine, and I can skip out early, huh?
I would think so.
Okay. Ben's just been really, really busy with the road paving. We did the Center Drive down by Norris. We got that section done down there. Finished up the shoulder work there last week. Everything actually went very well down there. The other Hidden Lakes, the Sherry Avenue area turned out very good too. We had a couple driveways that we had to resaw cut back farther. So there was going to be an extra, they had to call the guy back. So there will be an extra $400 charge because they had to call this saw company back. Just so you guys are aware, if you see this for interstate sawing, there's going to be an extra side bill for that. We're shouldering right now. I rented a shoulder machine that it's saving us What we did in the last 3 days would probably usually take us 3 weeks to do with our old way to do it. We used to dump it on the road with the truck, use the road grader and grade it off. And this thing, you back into it and it's like a hopper on the front of the skid loader. You dump it in there and you just drive along and push the truck along and it dumps into it. And it's got a belt that feeds it off to the side, lays any width you want. You adjust the width and depth and as fast as you want to go. You can't feed it fast enough. We can't keep trucking fast enough. But we've been starting at 6 in the morning because the skid loader's been overheating, pushing that thing. It's a lot of weight there. So we got Sherry almost done, Sunset View, and tomorrow we'll finish up Highland, and then we'll start over in Hidden Lake. So I'm anticipating Monday, Tuesday, probably wrapping that up over there. I have it rented for a week, so I started on Monday, basically, but he said if it takes a day or two longer, you'll still be fine within a week. It's a $1,500 rental fee. So, but it's saving us an unbelievable amount of time, so. Andy met with Paul Van Hinkelman over on that Myers Drive situation yesterday morning. The whole problem is there's not enough room to re-ditch that. If we remove that manhole there and just to ditch that out, that woman owns that property there into the ditch. She refuses to grant them an easement to be able to do that. So that's why they're stuck. So Andy he called me today. I called her. He wants to meet with her and just see if we can get a written permission from her to be able to do this. Not without giving an easement. Just basically written permission. He says he's got a 1-page form that they typically use for stuff like this. Just to be able, maybe 20, 30 feet onto her property to be the backside of the ditch and basically make the drain, everything flow without any more pipe work or anything. Just basically take those pipes out that they installed. Andy did come up with a design for the culvert pipe that he thought would work, but they're refusing to accept that plan right now. So that's why they just rather have an open ditch there. Waiting to hear back from the owner there to see if she'll meet with us and be reasonable and maybe help us out, just be able to get this thing done. So that's pretty much the holdup, and everybody's got to agree on a plan here. They're going back and forth with ideas and plans. Nobody's content with what they're offering, and so if we can just move that ditch back a little farther, open everything up, hopefully everything will work out fine. The county's okay with that, and we can get that intersection paved and finished up. So I know that woman, she's been on the phone with me and the county and everybody else, and yeah, I tell her the same thing. I said, the engineer's working on it with the county and the builder, developer, so everybody's kind of vicious circle going back and forth here.
Just as a point of clarification, you're asking her for permission to change the slope of the ditch that's on her property.
Correct.
As opposed to, an easement to me means, well, that's like permanent, it's gonna run with their land and all this other stuff. It's like, well, I can understand that.
Right.
But if it's just changing the slope, probably make it more gradual or something, or steeper.
It really wouldn't even affect her
For mowing or-
property. It's more into the ditch. It's planted field right now. It might affect just the corner of the field just slightly until they can restore it, but really wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't change any more water flow. It wouldn't. Nothing's changing as far as adding water flow or anything. It's just trying to get it to flow around that corner, efficiently. So, and the county's been kind of really not very helpful, honestly.
That was her opinion too.
Yes, they will not commit to any. They're basically leaving it up to the developer and our engineer to come up with a solution and then run it past them and they'll okay it. But so that's where we're at with that. But And
Okay, anything else?
just basically just doing a lot of roadside mowing, trying to keep up. But like I said, we've been all hands on with this whole shouldering stuff. All 5 of us have been out there all week, nonstop. So, I mean, like I said, hopefully anticipating wrapping that up, and that's pretty much about it. So, it's a lot of road work last few weeks.
All right, thank you. Macy warned us about asking questions. No asking questions except clarification. So, I think we're done with John. That's it, thank you.
Okay.
Authorize Jeanson and Retroff to develop a 2023 budget worksheet. We mentioned this at our meeting with the auditor and said we'd place it on the next agenda, and so here it is on the next agenda. As I understand it, Jeanson and Retroff help us with our budget worksheets at the beginning, getting the final numbers from the year before into that spreadsheet and get it in shape to put our 2023 budget in. Is that right, Karen? And they've been doing that for a number of years. So we were looking for a motion to authorize Jeanson and Retroff to develop the 2023 budget worksheet. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? Second by trustee DeGrave. Discussion. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're on to resolution 202209 for the fire department stipends. As you see in my draft motions, I have varying motions depending on the pleasure of the board. We do have this particular item. Well, let me back up. We did have a meeting, a special board meeting with the fire department in closed session to talk about this particular item. They provided us additional information. One of the items that I was looking for out of that meeting was some budgetary information, which we received. Thank you, Karen. I think this morning. And on the stipend amount. As everybody should be aware, in our resolution 2021-22, these stipends were established effective January 1, 2022. They have not been paid other than the cell phone $50 a month stipend since then, at the request of the fire department as we work through this issue. We started and stopped many times, but we finally had our meeting with the fire department. So it is labeled in closed session in the event the board wants to talk about it in closed session. It is a fringe benefit compensation of the fire chief, assistant chiefs, and battalion chiefs. So if we want to defer that motion until after closed session, we can. So we can talk about it in closed session. If we want to make motions now, we can make motions now. The fire department is here. Our assistant chief Hayes and Chief Feldy are here. For additional information or questions, I suppose we can call them up to the microphone if necessary. So what is the, I guess the first question, just like the sale of the backhoe, is do you want to go into closed session to discuss it? Or make motions now? I got one yes going yes.
2 yeses.
2 yeses. 3 yeses, okay. Do you have any questions for the chief or the assistant chief while they're here?
I have a question on the resolution itself. Whatever the number is that we decide on for the stipend, it says in here XYZ per month, including $50 a month for a phone bill. Does that mean that, say the number of $400 a month was a number that we settled on, does that include the $50?
In the original resolution, it indicates there's a stipend amount and an amount for their phone. So the stipend amount is that's what we need clarification on, is what is the stipend amount?
But the stipend amount included $50 for the phone.
Well, that's what my question was.
As I recall it. That's why, on my draft motion sheet on the second page, I put some clarifying language in there, so which makes it, I think, a little clearer that it includes, instead of including a $50, it says which includes a $50, which would make it clearer. But that's right. I mean, it was $200 for the chief and $150 for the assistant chief and the battalion chiefs. But $50 was built into that.
Yes,
those numbers.
that's how it always
So
was.
the mileage and the equipment was $150
That's correct.
for chief and $100 for everybody else.
But because we're doing this as a non-accountable type plan, it's actually two separate numbers.
Correct.
Because
Yes.
one's going to the W-2 and the phone bill is not. So that's why I was thinking it shouldn't be
Right.
lumped in.
And we can,
Oh, we could work on my
just-
clarifying language.
In the
clarify
resolution.
that,
Okay,
And
that's
just
just-
say, here's the dollar amount for mileage and reimbursement, non-accountable, and here's the $50. Yes, we could do it that way to make
Okay.
it. Instead of which includes, we could have two dollar amounts, a dollar amount, and then another $150,
Right.
right? Okay, so we're going to closed session on that. When we come out of closed session, we'll have a motion and we'll fix the language in the resolution as part
you
of the
guys
motion.
are coming back, right, after closed session? Yeah, okay. All right.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
So everyone okay? Follow along? Okay. So now we are over to approve the temporary Class B retailer's license for the German Shepherd Dog Club of Wisconsin for a fundraising event on September 9 through September 11th. I think some of those might be rain days, but Karen, I know this is an annual event, or absent maybe COVID, but
The last 25, 30 years, they've done it.
yeah. And any problems ever?
Never.
Didn't we vote on it our last meeting?
Not the German Shepherds, no. I don't think so.
No, we did not.
Pardon me?
They come every
They
year.
come every year. So they get their approval every year.
And they have a bartender's
I'll make a
license.
motion to approve the temporary Class B retailer's license for the German Shepherd Dog Club of Wisconsin for a fundraising event on September 9th through September 11th, 2022.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Their application, everything is all in order, paid their fee?
Absolutely.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Menard's charge card. In your board packet is the changes to the Menard's agreements, and they are one for each Menard's, I think.
That's what they require
Yeah, that's what they require.
per store.
Per store. So we are looking for a motion to approve the Menards employee charge account in conformance with the Village of Vernon credit card policy and authorize the village president to sign the Menards authorization documents as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
I don't know, did any of our deputy clerks have a card?
I used to,
It was just you, right?
yeah. But none of the deputy clerks ever went to Menards.
Okay, because I didn't see their names
Yeah.
on the list anywhere.
We go to Amazon now.
Amazon comes to you.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you unanimously. And now we are on to correspondence, announcements, and reports. So Macy's warning about asking a bunch of questions, just clarification. I will start in our board packet and for a future agenda. Sheriff's Department, request for cameras and equipment. It came in just a little bit late to get into our agenda for a decision, but it's they're here. I think it's self-explanatory as far as what they're looking to do. This is for your squad, right? Someday body cameras, but that's different.
No, it's a camera to take photographs for evidence.
Oh, it's a camera to be in your squad to take pictures when you need to. And so you see the cost there on Amazon.
And there is a discount right now for the camera.
Oh, okay. How long does the discount go for? We'll put it on our next agenda.
I'm not sure.
All right. Okay, so that's on the report. Openings on the, on our committees and so on. We have an opening on the Fire Commission. We have one citizen interested. I just wanted to make a public announcement that we're looking for interested people for the Fire Commission, the Finance Committee, and also the Plan Commission. In-person absentee voting is ending. The clerk will give a report, I believe, tomorrow, maybe Saturday by appointment. In-person election day is August 9th, Big Bend Elementary, which is Tuesday. I-43 project, we received something on our email. This is the continuing I-43 project between 164 and Racine, I think, is the next segment up. And I think that's on our website too for public input or public comment, I think. DOT is looking for public comment. Open book, we deferred our Board of Review to correct the tax roll errors that were in the initial tax roll. That is supposed to be up soon, if it isn't already. Open book starts August 8th, and so go to the website to find the new tax roll. The errors were really not in the assessment, but in names and addresses of property owners. Clerk Administrator's Office and Staffing. We did hire Public Administrative Associates. We'll refer to them at times as PAA. We met with them on August 2nd, which was 2 days ago. He asked board members to submit their surveys, so please do so. Karen Shu and Tammy Spoon are resigning effective August 12th, 2022. I'd like to thank Karen again for her service and also thank Tammy for hers. And our treasurer, as everybody knows or should know, previously resigned effective June 30, 2022. We did talk about that at our Tuesday meeting, and our HR committee will be resuming its search, and I do believe we'll get to Trustee Sloney next in his report. He can report on when the next meeting is. We do have deputy clerks continuing with us, one of which is deputy treasurer. We have discussed interim staffing with PAA at our meeting on Tuesday. We plan to finalize interim staffing as quickly as possible, with particular emphasis on the critical functions that are performed by our clerk's office. I will have to say, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but office hours may change. There might be limited hours. There might be days that they're closed depending on staffing. But I will assure the residents that DPW, fire, sheriff, waste management, rec director, building inspector, planner, engineer, attorney, assessor are all continuing. It's really the office staff here that provides service to our public. And we are going to go through a transition, so please bear with us. RFPs for the village auditor are due August 10th, so those are coming. I think we just got one in today or yesterday. That was in your email. So we will have some special board meetings on staffing and as often as necessary, in my view. That was a long president's report, but there's many things to talk about. I apologize for that. So we will go down the line. Trustee Sloney.
Thank you. I only have two quick things. One, I assume our house isn't the only one that the garbage was not picked up today yet. I did see two of the trucks on the side of the road. One obviously had broken down, the other one stopped there to help him, so I kind of understand. But that too needs to be rectified. And then the only other thing I have is that I really wanted to thank our clerk administrator, Karen Chu, for all her service over the years, because this very likely could be her last meeting, at least full board meeting, with us. She's done so much for this village that she'll be missed. Thank you, dear.
Trustee DeGray.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to just go along with that, Jim. Thank you, Karen. The other thing I had was, because you had Plan Commission on the agenda, I had a resident that contacted me today and said that they would possibly be interested. So I just asked that I'm notified of the process and the procedures so I can make sure that that person can submit whatever he's got to do. Thank you. That's all I had.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and say the same thing as everybody else. Thank you so much, Karen, for all your help.
16 months, isn't it?
Nothing new to report, but I would also like to thank Karen and Tammy. Tammy was an awesome deputy clerk, and she did a good job here.
Thank you. We've heard from the sheriff, heard from John Henneberry, our DPW director, clerk administrator. Ms. Karen.
Just wanted to repeat again, I know, Carl, you indicated that absentee voting is going on from tomorrow through the state of Wisconsin, from whenever their clerk office opens. All clerks in the state of Wisconsin are open tomorrow till 5 p.m. I do have appointments made for Saturday morning, so if people need to vote on Saturday, unfortunately, because I have a funeral on Sunday, so I don't have Sunday hours, but I do have Saturday hours. You have to call me. I have to have your name, but I do have pretty many people coming in Saturday morning to vote. And as President Fortner stated, the election is going to be at Big Bend Elementary for the August and November elections. That's by state law. When the board makes a decision of where an election is going to take place in August by state statute, it has to take place for the November election. And the principal and the staff at the school are really, really doing a great job working with us here. And then in November, when the kids are in school also for that next election, it's really important when the kids are there. There's no kids going to be there in August, but we will have signage. Hopefully, it was in the newsletter, 3 spots. I hope you saw the big signs that we put out so people know that it's at Big Bend Elementary, and that's all I have, sir.
Thank you. And thank you again for your service. And no voting truck here, right?
No voting truck?
Yeah. It's a joke, of course.
They might be come back.
Right. That was just an oblique reference to receipt. And their mobile voting facility. Okay. Finances, accounts payable August 4th, 2022. There was a revision for the postage over at Crossmark, and the second invoice from Crossmark for the signs for $400. That will be on next APs. So we are looking for, make sure I got the right one in front.
Motion to approve batch number 202200804 for $75,539.93.
That's exactly the motion I was looking for.
I'll make that.
I'll second that motion. Discussion. Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 4-1. Manual checks. There is no manual checks. Okay, so now we're on to employee 2021 and 2022 WRS FICA reimbursement. This was pursuant to a resolution that the board adopted, resolution 2022-07, and as of now, today, the meeting, I know you had something in our packet that we're waiting on certain individuals to get back to us.
Have not responded,
Have
correct.
Not responded. One responded in a way that was,
I just wanted to know what the board would like me
Right.
to do.
right, so right, we need to know what we would want to do in the sample motion, draft motion sheet, I had a sample motion that basically says to withhold it on the first pay period, all of it on the first pay period in September 22, the total amount for those employees who have not either remitted their unpaid FICA or agreed to have the amounts withheld as set forth in that original resolution. So there's got to be an end to it. Unfortunately, I was hoping that everybody, but this would still give them time to, you know, the first pay period in September is September 2nd? No, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, Labor Day? The 1st? Okay. So it'll give them time as opposed to the, you know, a little bit of time. So that was my draft motion. I make that motion, but if anybody is interested in any further discussion, otherwise I'll make a motion to withhold on the first pay period in September 2022 the total amount of the employee 2021 and 2022 WRS FICA as set forth on Resolution 2022-07 on those employees who have not either remitted their unpaid FICA to the Village of Vernon or agreed to have such amounts withheld as set forth in Resolution 2022-07. I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Further, any discussion?
I
can
got,
read it up.
I got one. This is money that has to be paid, period, end of story. Should have been paid.
I think it's been remitted to the IRS already.
We've already paid it?
Yeah. And it's their
Okay.
motion.
The only, excuse me, the only change I would like to see perhaps in the motion you just made was take it out of the first check or a payment plan that they come up with between now and the time you do the check, you know what I mean?
If the employee leaves, they have to pay it in full before.
You take it
should
out of
put a
it.
caveat there.
Right,
Well, but under that original resolution, they have that ability to make a payment plan as approved by the village president, and I stated at the meeting that the payment plan could be up to, could be anything, but up
Right.
to 10 paychecks
right, at the time,
with the full amount on their last paycheck if they terminate their employment.
right.
So, as I said at that, so
But
that's
this-
fine.
but
That
this
would make it through it
resolution
through the end of the.
Says you're just gonna take it out of their check September 1, end of story.
Unless they
And that's,
unless they do the payment plan before then. What we've done is given them a chance to do the payment plan, and they either haven't gotten back to us or got back to us with a payment plan that was unacceptable.
okay,
Because they wanted to do it over 200 paychecks or something, or whatever it was. $1 a pay period.
oh, we're, yeah,
We're not interested in that. So that's why I made the motion that I did. It would be an ultimatum. They give them 3 more weeks, and they should have already had it done
right.
to reach a payment plan. And if they do, then it's, then
Well-
the payment plan applies.
As
So I
long
tried
as
to-
the
I
payment
tried to
plan
cover that.
option is still on the table. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
I tried to word it that way because the resolution says a payment plan in it. The 2022-07 resolution has the ability to have payment plans. I brought that resolution too. It's, in case we needed to see it. Yeah,
It does
I'm
give
sure
them
it
that option.
does.
It does give them that option. Then when I would inform them, I'd let them know I'd let them know tomorrow.
okay,
Village Board will allow employees to pay the employee portion of the FICA on WR for 21 and 22 in payments acceptable to the village president. And I haven't made anything less than, I mean, I'm not hiding anything. I told an open session, told you and everyone else before you adopted it, what the payment plan could be. And the idea on the payment plan was over 10 because we could get it done by the end of the year. It wouldn't cause a financial hardship, shouldn't cause a financial hardship to any individual employee. So that's.
magnitude of the issue, how many people are still,
It says in the memo, it's 1, 2, 3, 4,
or, okay,
that still have to come up with some type of, there's quite a few that paid it right up front or did it in 2 payments.
okay.
I think there's just 3 left, isn't there? No, 4 left? 4 left, okay.
But you'd want to name names.
No, we don't need to name names. There's no need for that. So I made that motion.
I seconded.
Jim seconded it. Dan, you have any discussion?
Yeah, just a question, will any of this carry over into next year? It just seems like it would be nice to make sure it's all off the books by the end of the year.
November, December. Well, now we're down to, well, we were at 10 paychecks, easy enough.
So can the motion be something to the extent that it needs to be cleared up before the end of the year?
Well, that was,
Just to have a little bit of something dragging over into next year, just doesn't, it keeps it's sloppy.
well, I could certainly do that because I have the authority to do it. That was always my intention, and I stated that from the
Right.
very beginning,
Right.
that
So
it had to be
that's why
cleaned
it
up.
was in the resolution.
Right, it had to be cleaned up by the end of the year. It was cleaned up by the end of the year, or your termination of employment. And the way to get there, if you wanted to pay overtime, was up to 10 pay periods. And and you can still get it.
You can still get it before the end of the year.
I think
Yeah.
that-
Right, so especially if they do it now, yeah. So,
Well, just reiterate to the people that haven't paid in full, that if they do leave, it's got to be paid, just so they know that clearly, that if they have an outstanding and they leave employment.
that has to be paid,
Right.
whatever balance.
You agree with that, correct?
Right. Right. Right, and as I said, Vernon has remitted its share, employer share, and the employee's share to the IRS. So we're just getting reimbursed through withholding the employee's share, which should have been done last year and earlier this year. Okay, everybody good? Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Okay. Thank you. Okay, where are we on here? Minutes, July 21. Minutes. Oh, yeah, July 21. I had a few comments. The only other comment to the changes, there's village president was, I probably abbreviated to VP. It just needs to be spelled out.
They had a real hard time reading your,
Oh, my scribble?
so change that village president.
VP to village president, not vice president.
Motion to approve is modified.
I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor? This is July 21. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. July 27, that is the minutes when we met with our auditor and to go through the 2021 financials.
That is correct.
I didn't see any changes.
No, I didn't see, yeah, they were fine.
Right. Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second,
Dan?
Dan. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. July 27th, this is Village Board with the Vernon Fire Department, closed session.
Do we normally have minutes for a closed session?
Well,
It's
you-
just acknowledged because you do open and open. I wanted the public to know that you opened, you legally opened an open session. That's all the minutes are.
Right.
Oh,
So the
okay.
public knows that
Open
you,
the roll call, open meetings compliance, motion to go into close, the roll call vote.
I just don't remember having actual minutes for past closed sessions.
right. You can see there's no narrative in the closed session, but it does
Right.
indicate to the public that you legally
That we
opened
had one.
correctly in open session, went into closed session, and you adjourned in closed session. So there's no narrative.
Motion to approve,
This is,
July 27.
is there a second? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Announcement of next village meeting dates. So here we go. August 10th, which is Wednesday, at 7 o'clock, Plan Commission. August 18th, that's our regular village board meeting. August 25th at 1:30 is our staff and village board meeting. August 8th, as mentioned earlier, is the beginning of open book with our assessor. August 23rd is the Board of Review, 6 PM. That's the time, that date and time we adjourn open book, or sorry, Board of Review 2. So those are the meetings, all here or via Zoom, depending upon what's happening
Question.
with virus. What?
I was supposed to say something about the HR committee meeting, the upcoming
Back
one.
to your,
Back, yeah.
yeah, I should have.
And I don't know for certain when it's going to be. I would like to do it Tuesday evening here at 6:30.
Oh, it's not a problem.
The election.
It's voting.
Oh, it's
Hey,
no problem. I mean, if people come in to drop off ballots, they'll come to so you absolutely can have a meeting here.
Okay.
Okay.
Then I'll get in touch with the rest of the,
I think the open book is 3 to 5 or something, that on the.
August 8th was Monday.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
August
yeah,
ni- So.
yeah. So that's not a
There shouldn't be
problem.
any, August 8th, there's no early voting, there's no poll.
Oh, yeah,
You're
nothing.
Going through the books.
Yeah, nothing can happen. Yeah, Jim, so
Right.
that's not a problem.
okay.
And then Tuesday is the election, but it's at Big Bend Elementary,
Right.
so the work is,
Right, so,
you're gonna close turn the keys and on the machines and all that stuff over there, right?
we have to mow them in from there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So
Oh,
it's
you're
not
gonna
a,
mow them in and,
yeah, yes, it has to be, yep.
so.
So Jim, I'll
Then
put that in
I'll-
your report.
Right. Please.
Okay, so we circled back on your report. Okay, now we're ready. I will make a motion to go into closed session as I previously read and as printed on the agenda. The motion will require a roll call vote. Is there a second?
Second.
President Carl Fortner,
Yes.
trustee Jim Solani,
Yes.
trustee Daniel DeGrave.
Yes.
Trustee Dylan Newman.
Yes.
Trustee Lorene Dashick.
Yes.
Mr. President, note for record that your village board has moved to go into closed session at 7:52 PM.
Thank you, and for the benefit of the public and everyone, no decisions will be, and no actions will be made in closed session. We will reconvene in open session and make motions in open session and have open votes in open session. So with that, we will adjourn to closed session. We'll take, 3 minutes? 5 to 8, hopefully short.